You know, this caravan business coming this way, going to reach in a few days. Saw it on the news yesterday, day before, whatever, and you know that got me kicked back into doing my evidently stories. They all come from visions and what have you. But go back into the 1970s, 71 around there. I was a drywaller, and at the time we were having coming across the border and trying to get into the trades, and also about that time there was what the news people called something people, all people on boats, and and we're going to let them in, and so we're all kind of like concerned about too many people coming in, and I had a vision. I was in a rowboat, and I'm going to get my kids, and there's people, and I feel sorry for them. They're in dire need, they're hanging on to branches or whatever, but I got to get to my kids. If I start letting them in the boat, by the time I get to my kids, there won't be no room for them, and I'll have sacrificed my kids for the sake of others. I got to be hard-nosed about this. I got to think about my kids. I got to get to them. Then I'll start thinking about maybe letting somebody in the boat. I'm not going to capsize a boat because I got to get to my kids. And then here we have this Caravan A Comin with all these people, and it sure smacks of foreign influence or what have you. Trying to destroy our company. All these lately with these school shootings and what have you, and they've been coming up with protect our children. Take care of our children, protect our children, save our children. Well, this caravan coming, that's like a big cannon heading at our kids. If these things keep flooding in, for every person in, that's one kid out. Where do you think all those homeless people are coming from? They got pushed out of their jobs or what have you, Anyway, I just want to read this story about the I kind of had to, it gets updated, I just did it a couple of weeks ago or whatever, and I want to talk a whole lot about this business about coming in, but yeah, you're okay. I'm going to try to cut these in maybe one or two things, because there's a lot I'd like to say about this issue. So anyway, the story, the setting of this is the rescue. Back in the area of, the flood area, you've seen aerial views of houses. This is an area where all the houses are on 4 or 5 acres. They're spread out, and so you see a rooftop here and rooftop there. And here's the story about the rescue. And my wife says, get down to the bottom line, make it short, But that's phone calls to doctors, so the story's got to be. But anyway, I cut it way down, just the country's in bad weather, and the heroes in Washington, they got to get down to where they are, and, trains, planes, automobiles. So just cut all that out and just get to the gist of the story here. While the husband was working in the capital, a sudden flood a couple of 100 miles west of the Mississippi River put his wife and 2 children in danger. The entire country between them was super bad weather. He eventually reached a spot within 20 miles of them, got out an outboard motorboat from his friend, threw ropes and life jackets in, and away the 2 of them went. By this time, the wife and kids, they'd been forced by the ever-rising water upstairs and then into the attic. And then 10 minutes away from reaching them, frightened people were grabbing onto the sides of the boat, pulling themselves in and slowing down their speed. Meanwhile, the wife had to kick out the 2x2 air vent down by the gable, climbing out and pulling herself up onto the roof. She lay spread eagle on the peak, hung part of her body back over the edge, and pulled her children up to her and pushed them behind her. The father could now see them. The water was now up to the vent, and the wife had her foot braced against a vent pipe, and the water, probably her feet's almost, the water's not up to her feet yet, but she's got a kid on each side of her and bracing herself, and over near the middle of the house. Chimney's far away yet, and the boat was, and the father, now only a few feet away from reaching her, yelled out, "Hang on, I've got you." The mother watched in horror of what took place next. The boat was crammed full of people to the point of capsizing. They were all screaming, "Don't stop, we don't have room for any more." The friend at the rear was pulled backwards in the water by a man who had been hanging onto the edge for some time. His friend had given his life jacket to a woman earlier. Already exhausted from dealing with this bunch of desperate people, couldn't swim against the current back to the boat, gave up and dog paddled as he drifted away. Meanwhile, the scared and angry load of people threw her husband overboard as they drove upstream towards safety. At least this allowed the husband to drift to the rooftop and join his family. Now, I know the world is full of desperate families in dangerous situations, but I don't think the answer to the problem is to open up our nation and let them pour in. For each one in, one of our children are pushed out, and the generation of grandchildren is in deep peril. I know this sounds cruel and inhumane, but just consider the idea that what they're escaping from follows them here. I sit in church week after week and hear great testimonies from the baptistry by those who fled to this country to escape whatever. Bringing in the right people works, but how do we know who they are? If we're not careful, we might all find ourselves clinging to a rooftop.